was a fun. Now the jingle hop has begun. Jingle bell, jingle bell rock. Jingle bell time and jingle bell time. Dancing and prancing in Jingle Bell Square. In the frosty air. Ho, ho, ho.
Enough of that. What's good, YouTube? Merry Christmas! It's your boy DK Studios Online, and I'm back with another video. You guys can't see it, but this year for Christmas, I got myself a MacBook. Still getting the hang of it, though. Once I get the hang of the controls and how it works, well, how QuickTime Player works, I'm going to start doing my videos here. But enough about that. Today, we are here to react to 3 scary true Christmas horror stories. This video is by Lazy Masquerade. Go check him out. He makes great stuff. As do all the horror story channels on YouTube. If you guys want to watch the original video, I will leave the link to it in the description down below, as well as Lazy Masquerade's channel. I'll also leave the links to 3 of my social media sites, well, all 3, which are my Instagram, Snapchat, and Twitter. They will all be in the description down below. Make sure to hit me up on those sites, contact me, send me video suggestions and whatnot. You know the drill. But with that being said, let's begin.
Today's video is sponsored by NordVPN. Whether you're a long-time listener or you've only heard a few of my creepy real-life stories, you've probably realized the value of staying safe and secure, even while surfing the web. So, if you're like me and you want to access the internet securely and privately, you should really be using a VPN. Enter Nord. NordVPN is extremely reliable and convenient, with super fast servers and 24/7 customer support.
Really?
Want to stay hidden online? NordVPN has double data encryption for increased anonymity.
Take
Want more
notes,
peace of
viewers.
mind? Their VPN protects your communications and personal data and makes hacking into your devices nearly impossible. With NordVPN, your data will always be protected, whether you're out traveling the world or working online in your local coffee shop. Right now, they've got a special Christmas offer on. Head over to nordvpn.com/masquerade and use coupon code MASQUERADE, and you'll make a huge 81% saving on their 3-year plan. They'll even throw in 2 Christmas gifts, an extra 4 months, and the NordPass password manager app for free. Find that unique URL in the description or comment section and go and check them out.
I'll make a mental note of that. NordVPN. I should probably close these blinds. I can still hear it though, don't worry.
Number 1. It was Christmas Eve, 2001. I was 6 years old at the time. My parents had gone to the store in town to grab some last-minute supplies for Christmas. They'd left me in the barely capable hands of my older brother. I was downstairs in the living room watching some cartoons on TV, while he was upstairs in his room listening to metal. As I'm sitting there, watching Dexter's Lab, I caught something out of the corner of my eye. Passing by my living room window was a guy in a big, floppy red hat. He stopped at the window and looked in at me. It was a man dressed up in a cheap Santa suit. He had the big, fake white beard and everything, even a large sack slung over his shoulder. Now, to my childish mind, this really was Santa paying me a visit. Still, even then, I knew something was off. What unsettled me about him as he stared in through the window at me were his eyes. They looked sickly and yellow, with dark bags hanging under them. His cheeks were sunken, and he didn't exactly look like the holly jolly jelly belly Santa I imagined growing up. He looked in at me for an uncomfortably long amount of time, and I looked back. Rather than be filled with joy, I just felt uncomfortable. But being so young, I didn't exactly know how to react. Santa was a good guy, right? While looking in, he motioned towards our front door, as if to say, "Let me in." I got up off the couch and walked into the hallway. I unlocked the door, but didn't touch the screen door in front of it like my parents had taught me. As such, there was still a thin layer between myself and the Santa now standing on my porch.
Oh, ho, ho. Why, hello there, little boy. Merry Christmas. And what's your name?
Michael. I remember feeling confused that he didn't know my name. I always thought Santa knew every kid's name. Wasn't he supposed to have a list?
And check it twice?
Nice to meet you, Michael. Do you know who I am?
I nodded yes.
Well, I've heard you've been a very good boy this year, so I brought you this.
He dipped his hands into the sack and pulled out a wrapped present. Held it out in front of him as if to say, "Come and get it." Being so young and naive, I was tempted to open the screen door and take the gift. But my parents had drilled stranger danger into me hard, to the point where I didn't even trust Santa Claus.
Smart.
All I could think to do was tell Santa that he had come too early and that he should come back at nighttime like he was supposed to. Put the present under our tree, you know?
Come now, Michael. Open up and come and get your present. It's a doozy.
He about to snatch you.
The temptation was strong. I wanted the present, obviously. My imagination ran away with me, thinking about which new, cool toy it could be. But I needed permission. I shouted up to my brother, "Daniel, come down here real quick." I'll never forget how that Santa's eyes widened as I shouted that upstairs. Without hesitation, he turned and walked away. He hopped into a van outside our house that still had its engine running. All I could think was, where are the reindeer? Within moments of getting in, he drove off down the road, never to be seen again. Not by me, at least.
That was white van.
My brother hadn't even heard me shouting because of the metal he was blasting. When my parents came back, I told them about the Santa that came to visit. They thought I was just pretending or playing a game. A couple of days after Christmas, the news broke out. An 8-year-old boy in our town had disappeared from his house after his parents ran to the stores.
Oh,
They'd only left him alone for 10 minutes. They never found him. My folks believed my story after that, and never left me alone with my brother again.
No
I
present
thank
is...
my lucky stars we had that screen door rule in my home.
No present is worth it if your life's in danger. I know that much. He was about to snatch him.
Number 2.
Lucky Lucy. What's this about?
It was December, a few days before Christmas, and I was out walking my dog, Lucky Lucy, late one night. The poor thing had been stuck inside all day and was begging for some exercise.
Oh.
Being December in the north of England, it was obviously a very cold night. I was wrapped up head to toe in my warmest clothes, and I even put a dog coat on Lucy. We made our way down a quiet country path near my house. The path itself was lined by trees on either side. It was pitch black, so I held Lucy's leash in one hand and a flashlight to guide our way in the other. After 20 minutes of walking, I heard something on the path up ahead of us a ways away. Couldn't tell what it was at first, but it didn't sound like it belonged there, if that makes sense. Wasn't the sound of nature or an animal. I shone my flashlight directly into the darkness ahead of us, but whatever was making the noise was too far away to see. I stood frozen in place for a few moments, listening intently. Whatever the noise was, it had stopped. Thinking I'd just imagined whatever it was, I lowered my flashlight back to the ground and pressed on. Half a minute later, I heard that same noise again, only this time more clearly. I was closer to its source now and could just about make out what it was. A woman, crying. I raised my flashlight again, and this time could make something out in the distance. Standing in the middle of the path, totally enveloped by the darkness, was what looked like a human shape. She was about 200 feet ahead of us. What on earth? I continued on towards her. Eventually, I got close enough to see her in detail. The woman was standing with her back to me, body facing in the direction of the darkness ahead of us, black hair sprawling down her back. She stood motionless in the road. What made this strange situation even weirder was that she was only wearing a stained, white nightgown. No shoes or coat or scarf, nothing to protect her from the elements.
Ghost.
Like
a
I
ghost.
said, it was freezing that night.
It's a
What was she
ghost.
doing out here in the middle of nowhere dressed like that?
Ghost.
I felt uneasy and wanted to turn back, but she was clearly in trouble. I couldn't just leave her there. Excuse me, miss, do you need some help? She didn't answer me, just stood there, sobbing to herself. Obviously, something bad had happened to the poor thing. I lowered my flashlight as not to freak her out, and slowly approached her, one small step at a time. Are you all right? Did somebody hurt you? Again, there was no reply to my questions. I continued to inch forward. I was only 25 feet away from her now, but without my light on her, I could only make out the outline of her body, like she was a human shadow standing in the pathway. Suddenly, my dog Lucy stopped, her eyes fixed on the woman in front of us. She tensed up and became hard like a stone. I tried to tug her along, but she refused to budge. Then she did something I'd never known her do in all of my days. She let out a low, aggressive growl. She was usually such a sweet-tempered dog. This was totally out of character.
That's when you know something
Come
is
on,
wrong.
Luce, I said to her. She refused to move and just continued growling. I'd never seen her act like this before. I took that as a warning sign. Dogs often have a good sense for danger.
Yep.
Thus, I stopped and shone my flashlight directly at the woman one final time. Her whole body illuminated. Through the dark hair on the back of her head, I could make out two large, watery, black eyes and a wide, large mouth. It was as if her face was on backwards. I almost dropped my flashlight in shock. Lucy whimpered. I immediately turned and began power walking back the way I'd come, Lucy quickly trotting alongside me.
Run!
Sudden, quick footsteps behind us.
Run!
Turned and shone my torch. Still sobbing, and still with her body facing away from us, the woman was running backwards towards us. I don't know how else to describe it. Given the direction of her body, she was moving unnaturally fast. My walk turned into a full-on sprint, Lucy running just ahead of me. The weeping slowly began to fade into the distance. Whoever or whatever we encountered on that path was gone.
Nope.
I have no idea what we saw in that country path that cold winter's night, but that's the night my dog earned her nickname, Lucky. Needless to say, I gave her some turkey on Christmas Day.
Well deserved. If things don't seem right, just roll out. There's no shame in it.
Number 3. And this isn't my story, but my uncle's.
Festive vengeance.
He had this friend in the past who made some bad life choices. Ended up getting into a load of debt. Well, this friend had a wife and kids, mouths to feed, and Christmas was only a couple of months away.
Oh.
As
That's
such,
sad.
he ended up borrowing some money from some pretty bad people, put it that way. I don't know how much money they lent him, but needless to say, it was a lot. They gave him a month and a half to pay off his debt and the interest. Payday rolls around, and my uncle's friend didn't have the money to pay off the mobsters. Instead of taking his things to pay off the debt, they ended up just taking him instead.
Oh,
They
no.
made him disappear. His family were obviously distressed, but the authorities were either unable to track him down or unwilling. Christmas morning, and the missing man's family wakes up. The mother isn't feeling very festive, for obvious reasons, but the kids rush downstairs to open the presents that their father's mob money had paid for. There's one box that stands out from all of the others under the Christmas tree, though. One that hadn't been there the night before. They tear off the gift wrap. It's a plain old cardboard box. They open it up. Inside is a detached human hand with a wedding ring on. It's the hand of my uncle's friend, their father.
Oh, no.
The loan sharks had a guy break into their house in the middle of the night and place the box under the tree for the kids to open. Why they did that, I don't know. Revenge, maybe? The world is just a dark place sometimes, I guess. Happy holidays, everyone. Never forget how lucky you have it.
Yeah. I'm very lucky. Even if I don't get much, I'm grateful. Always.
A quick reminder about today's sponsor, NordVPN. If these stories have taught us anything, it's the importance of staying safe and secure. The same goes for when you're on the web.
Alright, there's like 3 minutes left, and I'm pretty sure these less than 3 minutes are about the NordVPN. But yeah, like I said before, I'll make a mental note. But dang, man. I've said this before and I'll say it again. This goes for the second story. If things don't seem right, roll out. That's what I'll say to that. And also, to stories 1 and 3, I will say that nothing, no money, present, or nothing good is ever worth it if your life's in danger. You know, your own life, the lives of your loved ones. Like, it's a big risk, man. Just don't risk their lives. Don't risk your own life. Just play it safe. And also, to all the kids out there, always be grateful for what you have. I know there are many things that kids desire, but one day they'll all come to learn that sometimes they can't always get what they want. You feel me? Thank you for coming to my Christmas TED Talk. But yeah, this Christmas I didn't really get much. Well, except for this MacBook that I'm really grateful to have. But even if I didn't get it, alright. If I didn't end up getting one, it's fine. Because my parents probably couldn't afford it. But luckily they were able to. I'm just saying, you know, going with the alternative. But yeah, with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, because I did. Man, that second story had me shook for a sec. Because I know Lazy Masquerade doesn't really do this, but I thought for a sec that he was gonna, like, show, like, an image or something, you know, jump scare us. But, yeah, wow, I'm such a wuss. But anyway, if you guys want to watch the original video, like I said before, I'll leave the link to it in the description down below, as well as the link to Lazy Masquerade's channel, and my social media sites, you know, my Instagram, Snapchat, and Twitter. They will all be in the description down below. It's your boy DK Studios Online. Thank you guys so much for watching. I would like to wish all of you a Merry Christmas. Happy holidays, everyone. Please be safe. You know, spend time with your family, friends, you know? Because no one likes to spend Christmas alone. No one deserves to spend Christmas alone. There should always be some friends or family that should be around. But with that being said, it's your boy DK Studios Online.
Later.